What's up? It's your brother, your cousin, your uncle, your nephew, your friend, but it can't be your son, it's your kinfolk. William Jewell, giving you my detail as I articulate. This is articulating. Rap. How y'all doing? How y'all doing? If you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below and turn on the notifications on so you can get all the new content when I post it. I just came here to articulate and give you a telescopic and microscopic view from close up and far away. I think that's my best intro I've done in a while. Right. But man, it's good to be back and it's good to really actually have something to talk about. A lot of music, a lot of hip hop, a lot of rap is going on in this summer, and it's paramount that we talk about it. It's very important that we speak about this music that's coming on and keeping people on their toes. And just to give y'all an example of what Clips did this past week, they sold 118,000 copies for the first week sales. Right, so that's a big round of applause. This deserves a big hand clap because that's a win for hip hop. That's a win for the culture. That's a win for real lyricism and just true artistry. And if you know the story about the Clips, they sat on this album for a year. They probably took a year to make this album. So this album was 2 years in the making of fine tuning and perfecting. So I think it was a good thing, right? It was divine energy that it came out a year after the battle. And I think we're able to sit with this, able to digest it, able to understand it, and able to just appreciate it a little bit more with all the distractions out the way, right? Because Kendrick and Drake, they did a lot to the landscape, especially last year. It was just crazy. We couldn't keep talking about it. It was always a conversation about it, right? All the way up into the Super Bowl. And even then, it followed. And even now, it still continues, right? But the Clips, they really struck gold. They really got a major W, right? With that album. And I know some people are saying, oh, well, Travis Scott did this and did that. Justin Bieber did this and did that. Morgan Wallen, he so da da da. But we talking about pure hip hop. We're not talking about the auto tune, the melodic stuff. We're not talking about the pop music of Justin Bieber. We're not talking about the country pop fake rap of Morgan Wallen. We're talking about real hip hop in its pure essence, in its purest of form. And it got a W for us. How could we not appreciate it? How could we not exalt it? How could we not lift it up and give it some praise? Right? So it's definitely important that we talk about that. Right? And when we talk about Travis Scott, when we talk about the Jack Boys album, right? It came out on 713 day, 713, July 13th, right? 713 is the area code of Houston. And I came on this podcast singing, These are the days. These are the days. We cherish them because soon they'll be gone away. Soon they be gone on. Right? Because we know Travis Scott is from Houston, Texas. And if we make it more direct or more detailed and specific, he's from Mo City, Missouri City. I've talked about this on the last couple of podcasts. So we cannot deny the fact that Zero has influenced him, right? He's a melodic rapper. We know that Zero has influenced him. He's from Houston, Texas. So it's just a shame that Zero gave us all that messaging, all that wisdom, all that foreshadowing of fake friends and fake women, and people did not take that advice. People did not heed the word, right? But I will not let that dampen my perspective on Jack Boys 2. Right? Jack Boys 2, to me, it was a smooth listen. To me, the production was there. To me, Travis Scott is continuing to do what he's done. It wasn't hard. It was very digestible. Of course, what people are saying, Don Tolliver was more the standout vocalist on that album, especially that song No Comment. I love that song No Comment. Like, that was a song that really stuck with me from listening to it. Everything with Future, and just kind of like it was like a follow up of what he did on Playboy Cardi's album Music. Like, when we talk about Philly, when we talk about the other songs that he did 3 tracks on Playboy Cardi's album. Like, I don't think he's following Cardi. I don't think he's trying to ride his wave. I think they're kind of moving in juxtaposition. I think they're moving jointly, right? As a JV, as a joint venture. I think their sounds are actually combining with each other. And we talk about the Jack Boys. We talk about Don Tolliver and Travis Scott and how well they just complement each other, with their sounds and with their vocals and with their auto-tune presence. I feel like the production was there, right? This was a straight vibe. To me, this was solid music. This was a solid body of work. But when you hold it or compare it to like pure hip hop, traditional hip hop, and you try to compare the two, depending on what side of the coin that you're on, you might not be able to appease the other side, right? So everybody's saying that this didn't live up to expectations. Well, this is a collaboration album, and first of all, it was the #1 album of the week, beating out all the other albums I talked about, regardless of whether we talking about the bundles or we talking about streaming. Whether you saying he has a cheat code, there is no cheat code. The code is him being an icon, fashion-wise. The code is him being an innovator in the music industry. That's the code, and if you're able to do that, then there is no cheating. You got to be able to use your cachet. You got to be able to use your influence to increase your sales. Isn't that what the bigger, the major artists are doing anyways? The mega artists, their influence, aren't they using their impact? So I don't have no argument of what Travis Scott is doing. And I don't think that it's a bad look for hip hop. I feel like it's continuing that melodic rap trend. It's continuing to elevate that sound. And we know he's not a forefather, but he's one of the greatest contributors, and he's one of the biggest reasons it has elevated into what it is now. He's one of the main reasons why we have those rock stars like Uzi, like Playboy Cardi. We point to Travis Scott, and he hasn't been weird like those guys, and I credit that to his upbringing in Houston, Texas, but he's been a rock star. He's been somebody in the mosh pit, and God forgive him for his sins, right? Because we talk about the Astro World debacle. We talk about the lives being lost, the people being stampeded upon. But when we talk about Jack Boys too, I think people are trying to just throw it away because of what Push said about Travis. I think people are trying to throw it away because that's not their side of music. But I think it's an album that it's enjoyable. I think it's a vibe that was captured and encapsulated. I think it's something that, is definitely a tale or a showing of what the melodic rap can be, in the future. When we add these songs with Don Tolliver, we add these songs with Wale the Sensei, Future with the melodies, Playboy Cardi, like this sound continues to push forward. And we owe that to Travis Scott. Right? And we gotta talk about Ace Hood. Right? Soul. Some of us lose. right? And that meaning of soul, it made me take a step back. It kind of took me aback, right? I really had to analyze. Some of us lose, like Ace Hood, he's a motivational guy, inspirational guy. Some of us lose. It sounds very negative. It sounds like that's not what I want the acronym of soul to be, but you have to lose. You have to fall to gain something, right? When I changed my perspective, I kind of understood what he was talking about. When I listened to the album, I kind of understood what he was speaking on. And Ace Hood, he's just consistency. He's consistency. He's somebody that's going to showcase his ability to rap, showcase his ability to put flows together. When it comes to the production of Ace Hood, it's not great production. It's a little bit more hollow, right? His voice is piercing through, but I don't think that's just because of his his plan to do that. I think it's just because the instrumentation is not all the way put together, right? It's not put together. I feel like the production is good, especially when it got some samples. But Mr. Hood, that did sound like AI when we talked about Mr. Carter, or when we talked about Lil Wayne's album and the intro song on that, and people were saying that was AI. That song from Ace Hood, Mr. Hood, and I really love that song. When I think about that sample, it sounds like it was concocted and not really like taken from an actual soul sample, a soul song. And when we think about the budget and we think about the production, it's not like richly infused with a lot of instrumentation. And I point back to the budget and I point back to his independence as a reason why we can't get those soul samples, because of the clearance, and we can't get those luxury productions. And I actually feel like that's what he's missing to really go to where he needs to go. But if he wants to continue staying at or level he's staying at, that's fine too, because he's definitely an inspiration. He's definitely an example in that fitness realm. He's definitely a good rapper, and he shows and improves every time that he makes an album. He gives us quality, right? He gives us quality rapping. But I one thing I've noticed is the production could be better. But Georgia Lyric, oh my God, that was so heartfelt. That really touched me. That really pierced me. And man, I'm glad I was able to get some quality Pain music. I believe Georgia Lyric might have been a child, a daughter of his that is deceased or didn't make it or whatever. And he really poured his heart out on that song, and it really, it resonated with me greatly. But all in all, I think Soul from Ace Hood deserves to be recognized. It deserves to be put a stamp on it from articulating rap. And Ace Hood, in totality, as an artist, as somebody that's doing it independently, as somebody that has big hits when he had big production behind him. I mean, we know of his capability. So I feel like somebody or something needs to give to get that spotlight back on him. Cause right now he's just like a Don Trip, a Currency, a Starlito. He's a artist that people know and love, but he's an artist that could be a lot bigger if he was actually given the budget that he needed to really be on that pedestal. In 1995. And we can't forget about Alfredo too. We can't forget about Gangsta Gibbs, Freddie Gibbs. We can't forget about the Alchemist. We can't forget about what they did on Alfredo 1. We can't forget about that classic album. Right? We can't forget about it. In 1995 is basically a follow-up from his introduction on Alfredo 1, 1985. And it had a lot of guitar in it. And this one had the guitar and the soul samples, and just had space and room for him to breathe and really just kind of like talk his talk. Like that was a song, that was my favorite song of the weekend. That song really just kind of got my attention, really just made me feel right? Whether it be pain, whether it be luxury, whether it be excitement, whether it be toughness, whether it just be grown man emotions as a provider and as someone that has to protect the family. Like when we talk about 1995, we talk about that year, right? That was something that really like made me relate to Freddie and made me really be ready for this album that's coming out. And he dropped a short film. I like what he's doing as far as the rollout goes, but I wish he would have started a little bit earlier because now we got Tyler the Creator coming as well this same weekend. Don't Tap the Glass. He didn't even do a true rollout. He just came out a week before and said he's gonna be releasing, and that's what Freddie did. And I feel like Freddie should have took what the Clips did and tried to do it. Do more of an extended rollout, talk a little bit more because we know what Alfredo 2 is gonna be. And it deserves the attention from all hip hop heads. So we got the Clips, right? We got Jack Boys 2. We got Summertime Butch 2, which I'm gonna get to probably on the next episode. We got Raekwon, right? The Emperor's New Clothes. We got all this hip hop, soul, Ace Hood. We got these new musics, these new albums coming out. But damn, there's so many coming out. Are we gonna be able to take time and digest them? And I feel like Clips, they had that one island, that 1 week all to themselves, and that's just gonna be an album that people go back to as they're listening to other albums. They're gonna go back to the Clips album and compare whatever new thing they hear to that album. If it doesn't meet the standard, then it doesn't meet the standard. What Bill Belichick say? The standard is the standard. And the standard of Alfredo 2 is high because of Alfredo 1. He got features from JID. I can't even, I don't got the track list right in front of me, but when we talk about the Tyler the Creator, he has a Kendrick feature. He has a feature from Malice. He has a feature from Pusha T. He has a feature with Earl Sweatshirt. Right? So with this Tyler album, I think it's going to overtake the Alfredo 2 as far as the attention. But if Alfredo stands out with lyricism, with hard rap beats, and just like pure genuineness, I think it'll be able to hold its own and be able to box in that weight class, in its own weight class of where it's at. But I just hate that it's being stepped on a little bit. And I mean, who is Gangsta Gibbs? Who is Freddie Gibbs for Tyler the Creator to care about? Right? But if you know who Freddie Gibbs is, you know he's a important part to hip hop. And You Only Die Once was pretty much my favorite album of last year, right next to GNX. So we know what type of quality that Freddie's gonna give us. So it's just we just gotta see what happens from there. And Joey. And not Joey Crack, because Joey Crack, oh my God, he talked way too much. I did not like the Joe and Jada interview with Pusha T and Malice. I did not like the Clips interview because he was me, always talking about himself, and he just ruined that experience for me. And I feel like if it was Jada, Jada's a little bit new to that industry, a little bit new to that lane, and I feel like Joe's used to like talking to himself for the most part, and I didn't like that interview. But I'm not talking about that Joey from New York. I'm talking about Joey Badass. I'm talking about the self-proclaimed king of New York. I'm talking about Unique. I'm talking about ABK, the new single that he released. I'm trying to dive a little bit deeper into what he was saying, and he was spitting some venom again, right? But eventually, bro, you just gonna have to make a good song. All that shit ain't gonna work. Right? Can I be frank? Can I be real with you? You steady talking about TDE. You're steady talking about the East West Coast shit. You're steady talking about how you murdered these guys on the beats, how you were being jumped. You steady are talking about this, and it's getting a little bit tired now, right? You're choking the air out of this East Coast West Coast beef. I mean, we know you won. I'm glad you won. But if you see what Kendrick did, he didn't take the air out of it. He just made Squabble Up. He just made Luther. He just made Turn the TV Off. He just made Reincarnated. He just made great music. And I feel like he beating a dead horse right now. He beating a dead horse right now. I like the energy of the song, but as far as the overall substance and the concept of the song, the beat switching, like, I didn't like it because it really has no direction. It really has no true direction. Like, what are you doing with this song? What are you trying to say? What are you trying to encapsulate with this single coming off that? Because it just seemed like you steady trying to poke the bear. You steady trying to beat the horse. You won. Right? You had Crash Dummy. Nobody made a song after that. But you still doing your thing, and I'm not mad at it. But Joey, the main thing we need to hear from you is good music. We know you can rap now. We know you're a lyricist. Now we respect your pen. But we need to respect your studio sessions and your musical ability, your musicality. Right? Because we can't give you that crown. We can't give you that throne. We can't pass that torch to you. Same thing with JID. We can't pass it to y'all until y'all make these songs. And I get it. It's a different time. It's a different era. But Kendrick did it with Luther. Kendrick did it with Squabble Up. Even Drake did it with Nokia. I know we live in a microwave age, but some things can still be put in the oven. And I want to see you do it, but can you do it? Will you do it? I see you're tightening up your choreography a little bit, but dancing on stage is not going to get you to a hit song, my brother. So let's see what you can do. And damn, I don't want to be messy. I'm gonna finish up with a little bit of mess. I'm gonna make it quick. I ain't gonna talk too long on it. But Nicki went at Punch because Punch was posting about an artist he's trying to promote song. I Am Lyric was her handle on X. I Am Lyric. She has a song called Broken Barbies. And as Nicki was having her tirade going on X, she felt like he was sending shots to her, and she had some things to say. I'm not gonna read the tweets. I'm not gonna read what she said. And SZA kind of chimed in and said the Mercury is on retrograde. Don't take the bait, silly goose. LOL. And then Nicki went at SZA, body shaming her, talking about the fake freckles, just pretty much downplaying her star level and just her impact on the culture, talking about the bots, talking about the streams, just doing all that. But I feel like this is the first moment that Nicki did look bad, right? She's looked crazy, right? She's looked unhinged at times. But I feel like this was the first moment because SZA is a darling, right? I don't know if you would call her a media darling, but people just like her. Her personality is infectious. She seems like a nice lady. She seems like a good vibe, great energy, just a ball of positivity. And for Nicki to go at her and shame her and down talk her and roast her like she did and extend it even more than she should have, I think that was a bad look for Nicki. I think that was a bad look for Nicki. I think if she continues on in this type of way, although people know her for this, I think she'll be looked at same way Azalea Banks will be looked at. Not necessarily somebody that the culture doesn't care about, but just somebody that like their word and what they say we take with a grain of salt. We could laugh at it, but it's not important to the culture anymore. It doesn't mean anything. It's just one of those things where the word, the weight of your word is starting to weigh a little bit less now. And the weight of the shoulders of Shannon Sharpe have been lifted, right? He's been able to settle the lawsuit that was going on. And the young lady that was involved, the cornerstone of this lawsuit, she retired from OnlyFans following the settlement. So it goes to show you nobody really wants to do that. That's what it goes to show you. Nobody really wants to do OnlyFans. They just want to make some money, right? They just want to make some money. But when we talk about Shannon Sharpe, the question is, will ESPN allow him back on? This is right before football season, and I do miss him with Stephen A. I miss their talk. I think Ocho is cool, but Ocho is too nice with his analytics. I think he's just wanting to please the public and please the players and not get on anyone's bad side. But I think the camaraderie and the combination of Stephen A. and Shannon Sharpe is what the sports world has been missing since his departure. And I do feel like ESPN will be a fool, even though Disney is involved, right? They're the parent company. I feel like they will be a fool to not allow him to walk back in the doors. Now, will they give him the same contract they was going to give him? Probably not. But if they can get him at a pay cut, I think this would be very beneficial to them, to the network, and to sports media going forward. So I'm gonna just finish up with that. Like I said, I never was against Shannon Sharpe, but Shannon Sharpe was somebody like I always saw as a hypocrite as far as trying to tell people how to maneuver and act in the game of sports outside the court, but he wasn't following the rules himself. And so all of my criticism and opinions on Shannon Sharpe has been based on that, even when we go back to what I felt like he was doing when it came to Ja Morant. But I digress. It's your brother, your cousin, your uncle, your nephew, your friend, but it can't be your son, it's your kinfolk, William Jewell, giving you my detail as I articulate. This is articulating rap.